Welcome to our April edition of Let's Get Growing, and it's getting busy in the landscape, so let's grow on. In April there are many vegetables that you can still plant. See this list on the screen? Make sure that you're buying viable seeds that have been kept in a good location. That means no water or humidity, out of the sun, and that they have been not kept over from last year, that they're new seeds. Remember, in April we can still plant container-grown trees and shrubs. The problem is that you're going to water these much more than if we'd have planted in the fall. In addition, we can sow seeds of our warm season annuals in pre-prepared beds. And most annual seeds are quite small, so you're just going to have to spread them out on top of the soil and then let them come up. You'll water them every day for 7 to 14 days, and then when they get that second set of leaves, you'll gently grab them by the leaf, dig them out of the soil, and move them to a new location by punching a little hole and settling the soil in around them. Just make sure to water thoroughly after planting. Now, there's many things that we're going to watch for in the landscape bug-wise this time of year. Aphids on the new growth of everything. Mildew on our roses. If you're using earth-kind roses, you won't have this problem. Also, watch for snails and pill bugs on the undersides of the foliage of petunias and other annuals that are growing close to the ground, because they'll start eating the foliage and they can't even eat the stem off at the ground level. Cutworms are busy everywhere, particularly on new growth, and a lot of times you're going to see the damage, but you're not going to see the worms. Also watch for squash bugs, armyworms, and loppers at this time, because they're going to be active, and you can take care of those with also diatomaceous earth and the BT. You can also mix them together, use it as a powder, mix it, and you can spray it on. Just mix it with water, but make sure that you keep it shook up, because it goes into suspension, not solution. So not only are we watching for all these things, there's many things to do in the landscape in April. We're going to mulch all our newly planted areas. You're going to mow once a week. Hand water your newly planted annuals and make sure that you water them in thoroughly. Water before you plant and after you plant. Now, after you've planted these new annuals, wait until you see new growth, and then you can start a regular fertilizer regime. Prune your climbing roses after they've made that first bloom. And then you're going to go in and take out at least a third of the growth. And for every old woody cane you take out, you leave a new green cane. And remember to weed early, not only in the flower beds, but in your vegetable beds, because they're taking not only valuable nutrients, but they're also taking up the water. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to pay for watering weeds. I want pretty flowers. And don't forget, feed the birds. Today I'm going to show you how to make ivy cuttings, and as you can see, we have beautiful leaves down here, but then we have this area in here where we've lost the leaves. So I'm going to show you how to make cuttings from ivy. So I'm going to cut it right below a leaf node, and then I'm going to remove this old stem for the flower, and then I'm going to cut right here above the leaf node. Now then, I have a cutting. So now you see I have this container of fresh potting soil, and it's pre-moistened. And so we're going to start in the middle, and remember that the leaf grew up. So I left part of the petiole so that we'll know that it grows up. You can already see that it started air roots, but we want soil roots. So we're going to make a hole in this wet soil, start at the middle, and then push it in and firm it. Here, we're going to have to remove this inner node in between the leaves to get down again to a bud. And see how I've kind of left the leaf stem on so that you'll know which is up. And then we're going to make another hole and stick it in. Remove this piece of middle stem till we have, once again, you can see the node with the air root. And now I can leave a leaf on. And I'm going to make another little hole, stick this in, and firm the soil. Remove, once again, in between this piece of tissue. And then you can see we have a leaf at the top and a leaf at the bottom. We're going to remove the bottom leaf, leave the top leaf. But once again, you can see our air roots. So we're going to make another hole towards the middle. Point the leaf to the outside. Get it in deep enough that the leaf node is covered and firm it in the soil. So we're going to remove the leaf inner node. Remove the bottom leaf. Leave the top leaf. Cut right up above the leaf node. Made a hole about, 2 inches deep. Stick it in and firm it up. Now then we have one left. Cut below the leaf. Cut the leaf off. And we have our new growing tip right here. This one will probably grow a little bit faster than the rest. And we firm it. This will fill this container full, and you'll end up with a basket that looks somewhat like this. You can take the 6-inch pot after it's rooted, repot it into a hanging basket. This basket is what we call also a combination basket. But as you can see, we have flowers. This is dianthus, and it's a perennial. It'll come back every year. This is an airplane plant, and see how it makes the middle pop? You put your light colors in the middle and your dark around the edge. This is just what we call wandering Jew. And we can make cuttings from it just as we did with the ivy and stick it around the edge of the container. And this can be planted outside. It's a perennial basket that comes back every year in the ground. Now, if you're going to leave it in this basket all winter long, don't leave it hanging in the air. It's going to need to be settled into the ground to make it through the winter. And then you can pull it out of the ground when it starts to come out and hang it back on your porch. Whew. That's the April edition of Let's Get Growing. If you go out and take care of all these things, you'll be growing on.